Come in and have a seat.
Hello, Karina. I got here as quickly as I possibly could. You must have called me here for a reason. Have you been stressed out?
Yes, Doctor, I have been. I know that Sugar Daddy has hired you to listen to us, me and Whimsy. Talk to us about our problems. I'd like to tell you about what happened. I think I am finally able to discuss it.
All right, Karina. Go on.
Well, my parents died in a house fire. We were 5 years old, and my brother Bobby was 7. Whimsy, Bobby, and me, we were rescued from the fire. We were brought to the Noctis clan. I don't know if you've heard of them.
Yes, I have.
The Noctis clan is a vampire cult. We were taken under the clan leader's care. His name is Jonas Orion. He has a wife named Layla Orion.
Yes, I've heard of them.
Whimsy and I were only age 10, and Bobby was age 12. We were forced to have our teeth filed into fangs as a coming-of-age rite to become vampires as they were, as one of them. If we did not listen and do as older clan members wanted, if we didn't drink human blood, or if we disobeyed in any way, we were stripped naked, chained to poles, and our arms spread wide, and we were whipped with a leather whip, then locked in a metal shed for days and nights, burning in the summer heat and freezing in the winter cold.
That must have terrified you.
Yes, we were often terrified. After one such beating, me and Whimsy were finally released to our bedroom we shared. We decided we were going to escape. We were 15 years old and Bobby was 17 years old. We went to Bobby and told him our plan, thinking he would come with us. But he was treated as Jonas and Leah's son. He was the special one. He seemed to enjoy the clan and the things they did. He refused to go, even threatened to tell Jonas, so we made him believe we weren't going to escape after all.
Go on.
We waited months to escape. We were forced to clean out one of the old garages to make room for a bloodletting ritual. While cleaning out, we found a crowbar. I used strips of torn rag and tied the crowbar to Whimsy's leg under her pants, and we managed to smuggle it into the house and to our room unnoticed.
That was good.
On a cold, stormy night, we climbed out of bed and slowly pried the metal bars off of one of our bedroom windows. We pried the window pane open and climbed out the window and onto the awning of the porch. We climbed down one of the porch pillars, covered in rose bushes, cutting and slicing our flesh on the thorns.
That must have been terrifying.
Once on the ground, our nightgowns drenched in rainwater and blood, bruised and torn, we turned and saw the 2 Doberman dogs we were in charge of taking care of, standing in front of us, ominously looking at us.
That must have been scary.
It was. We tore off toward the woods beyond the open valley. Jonas made the mistake of putting us in charge of the dogs' care, for they ran beside us until we reached the edge of the clan's land. We climbed between the barbed wire fence and petted the dogs goodbye. I miss them. We tore off into the dark, and wet forest. We ran. We ran until we couldn't run anymore. I remember gasping for breath. I was cold, wet, and tired. We had walked for miles. Our slippers and nightgowns were soaked and muddy. It was early morning when we reached the city of Ploukras. Scared we would be found, brought back, and severely beaten, we hid in an alley between two garbage bins.
Oh, that's horrible.
For days, we shook and shivered, dirty and smelly, only moving into the shadows of doorways when the garbage men came to empty the bins. One day, after scavenging for freshly thrown out food to eat, for we were hungry, we were running around in circles celebrating that we had found some decent blankets to use when a tall man stepped into the alley. We were frozen in fear, jumping into our throats, the fear was, our hearts thudding in our chests. Was he from the clan? Another man joined him. Suddenly they grabbed us, arms wrapping around us strong and fiercely tight. We screamed and we fought, kicking out, hitting anything, biting and tasting blood. We hissed and snarled like animals. Whimsy sounded inhuman. But we did anything to get away, to no avail. We were tossed into the back seat of a black car, doors slamming. No matter how much I yanked on the door handle, the door would not open. I could not see a lock to open. Then suddenly we were going down the road. But to where? Who were these men? Were we headed back to the clan?
Were you?
We clutched and hugged each other in fear. Yet again we were prisoners. Out the window I could see an airport when the car rolled to a stop. The doors flung open and we were torn apart and dragged onto a small private jet. There were other men around, all dressed nicely in suits of black. I realized then that these were not members of the clan. These people were different. We were fed and given sweets, which we were afraid to eat, but hunger won out. We couldn't resist and scarfed down the food like hungry animals.
That's good.
Yes, yes, it was. Soon we landed and were escorted off the small jet, and I saw a sign that read, "Welcome to Rimbod." We were placed into a long black limousine. The drive down meadow roads was short. A huge mansion loomed before us, surrounded by emerald grasses and a pond and river the color of blue topaz. As we were let out of the limo, I could hear the sounds of the ocean. I could smell the salty air and realized we were on an island somewhere. We were brought inside the mansion by a man who informed us that he was the estate's butler, named Deacon, and that our new benefactor, his boss, was named Willof Oftenberg. Sounded German to me. Deacon showed us around the mansion, taking us up the stairs where there was a bathroom and two feminine-looking bedrooms. I assumed no man would live there. He told us one room was for Whimsy and one room was for myself. Deacon replied that Willow had seen us in the alley and was only helping us. We were free to leave if we wished, but since Deacon was aging and not as spry as he used to be, Willow wanted us to care for his home as he was gone a lot. Deacon said we were not to ask questions, which only left us with more questions. Deacon gave us both a credit card, and he said we were to treat the home as our own, and we were free to do as we pleased and to go anywhere we pleased, just as long as we stayed at the home. We have been at Willof Oftenberg's home, Valencia Meadow, for 5 years now. Me and Whimsy are now 20 years old and have never met Willof face to face. He is always on trips for work and pleasure. He writes us regularly and does claim to have eyes on us and knows what we are doing. We have nicknamed him Sugar Daddy, for he often loads the credit cards with Linden currency. We feel safe and protected having bodyguards in the shadows wherever we go.
That sounds nice.
Bobby, now age 22, has come around trying to talk us into joining the clan again, as have other clan members, harassing and threatening us with pain and death. Which brings us to now, here. Whimsy and I have gotten, I guess you could say, the winter blues, cabin fever. So we decided to take off to the mountains and vacation in a couple of campers. She's down the road from me.
That is both a terrible and scary story, but also has a good ending.
Yes, yes, it does.
Why did you call me here tonight?
I needed to tell somebody this story. I needed to get it off my chest. I needed to let somebody know, just in case.
In case of what?
In case anything happens to me or Whimsy. In case Sugar Daddy decides to get rid of us, or doesn't need us, or doesn't want us anymore.
Well, I am taking note of all of this, and I am sure that your sugar daddy will not get rid of you. But I will set up another appointment with you in a week, and I will meet you here at your camper and maybe talk with you both, you and Whimsy, and we could work something out.
That is what I was hoping for. Thank you, Doctor. Goodbye.